The word world has about 15 pretty distinct meanings. What does it mean? It means all kinds of things. It means our activity. And etymologically, it means appearance arising. So, appearance arising, if that's our world, and we can feel it that way, because often the etymology of words is more rooted in a yogic sensibility. We notice that we divide the world up into categories. So categories are always pointing out the usefulness of differences or distinctions. It's a way that we can notice things and bring intentionality to things. But the yogic sensibility says they're just categories. They're not things. They're not, I can say space is a thing, and what I mean by that is this is a thing which I can use. And for me, the thingness of the glass is it holds the water quite well. No, the proverbial practitioner says to his or her teacher, as I said this morning, what is mind? The teacher could classically say, you just showed me. Because asking the question is the activity of mind. So mind is an activity. And I'm not talking about Buddhism here. Buddhism is giving me a lot of clues. Because our Dharma ancestors tried to feel this through with an amazing thoroughness and attention to detail. When Dogen says, Hishiryo, and I suppose we could almost say that all the talks I've been giving for the last 10 or 15 years are related to my recognition that Hishiryo is badly translated as non-thinking. I keep saying this, but let's practice it. Noticing without thinking about. But if you notice without thinking about, you decide not to let consciousness locate you in the world. And that's not so easy to do, because we don't think something's real till consciousness says, oh, yes, that happened. I have the experience. But mind, how do we create a livable sense of mind? Well, I think the only way I know is to both locate it, feel it as a pattern, and you're participating in the pattern, and feeling it as an activity. Because it doesn't exist as a noun. It doesn't exist as a thing. So let's look again at intentionality. We're practicing the Dharma. And one of the basic teachings is the 4 marks of the Dharma. This is a formula or a gesture that's worth going through fairly often. We have this category, Dharma. How is it an experienced category? Well, the law, yes, in general, abstract the law, but it actually means to experience appearance. And particularly, as I've often said, appearance as birth. Something's born out of nothing. Just amazing. We human beings can make an absolutely new human being. We don't usually tell the new human being, now that you're born, you're going to have to die, get ready. But that's the game. You're born, and you're born together with your mother, and you're born together with the world. So the first mark is birth, and you feel the togetherness appearance. Everything, relationality, everything has coalesced momentarily to make this appearance. So the first category is, for a Dharma practitioner, is to start noticing appearance. Well, you cannot notice appearance unless you have evolved your intentionality. I mean, to actually experience it, like when you first notice something. I mean, I think the mouse technique is quite good to notice. Is there a mouse in the house? There's mice or it used to be, but last year, mice right next to me on the toilet in Hotoan. And I could hear them gnawing right next to me, but they couldn't seem to get, thank goodness, through to me. But when I listened, sometimes they'd stop. They're on to us. So what's going on that the mouse feels me listening? This is Newton and Einstein. This is common sense. There's some connecting field. And you can notice too, like you wake up in the night and you think, my house as a kid was full of squirrels. I mean, squirrels. I could lie on the registers. Registers are the holes between floors that let heat come up. And I could lie and I'd watch the squirrels, 5 or 10 at a time, running around. But you hear a noise in the night, and you can feel the mind trying to locate, is that a mouse? Is it the wind? So you can actually experience the mind involved in appearance. So the first Dharma is notice the mind that seeks appearance, that becomes mutual birth. And then it has a duration. Not very long, but it has a duration. So you experience time as duration, immediacy, and then it dissolves. And then you, tabla rasa, erase the tabla, because you're the participant. So you're not, if we just say it's some kind of scientifically, there's appearance or birth, duration, and dissolution, that's some kind of scientific explanation, maybe, proto-science. We're a participant. We're part of what's trying to explain itself. So we wipe it clean as much as possible, return to stillness, return to absence, and see what's next. Return to absence, see what's next. Return to absence, see what's next. That's Hishiryo. To notice what appears without thinking about it, without consciousing about it. So those are 4 categories that I never would have known if I hadn't practiced Buddhism. I wouldn't have thought of those things on my own. I mean, I might have experienced them somewhat on my own, and I do remember, when I'm talking about the mouse, it goes back to a time when I was, I think 4 or 5, staying in my grandmother's house in the winter, way up, and I just really noticed the mind trying to decide whether that was a mouse or not. And I never lost that feeling. From then on, I could feel the mind. Is that a teacup? Is that a bird? What is it? The mind is always involved with what is it? What is it? That's appearance. What is it? What is it? So now here's another distinction that I couldn't have thought of myself. So the 5 skandhas. Right at the beginning of the Heart Sutra, it's Heart-Mind Sutra. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The 5 skandhas, form, feeling, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Some problem with how to translate these, but let's use them as a kind of, it's one of the most common things I've found useful to try to teach is the 5 skandhas, and I've been doing it repeatedly for 50 years or 60 years. 5 skandhas. But let's look at them. Let's start with form, appearance. So there's form, but you don't notice form. You can't even say the word form unless there's awareness. So form is also simultaneously awareness. Form. The ground, the earth. The lights here, paper lights. Form. And awareness. Because there's no form for us in our human niche unless there's awareness accompanying the form. So, the form and awareness. And then the next one is non-graspable feeling. So awareness and form. That's like presence and absence. It's the ability to notice, to be in a field without contradiction of simultaneity. Not objects and permanence and things like that, but a field of relationality. Awareness and form. Awareness and non-graspable feeling that you can't name. You're in a kind of namelessness, pre-name. Well, I'll pull a name in, but then it disappears again. So, awareness of the sensorium, and then awareness of, I think for me the best definition is the 2 words, intents and impulses. Because there's impulses. I have an impulse to pick up the glass, which isn't exactly an intention, but it's what moves things, impulses and intents. So there's intents and impulses, and that's the 4th skandha. And then there's consciousness. Awareness of consciousness, not just consciousness. An awareness of consciousness. An awareness of consciousness, for example, is that a mouse, or is that a marda, or is that the cat which has come upstairs? So awareness of consciousness, not just letting consciousness confirm and make real what your experience is, but awareness is wider, and it says, well, consciousness is trying to make it real, but, it's bigger than real. It's relationality. So the 5 skandhas are a way to bring not time and body and mind and space, etc., but to use the 4 marks, or when you use the 5 skandhas, you're using something developed in Abhidharmic Buddhism. And you're using these categories now to bring intentionality more closely into the activity we call mind. Okay, thank you very much.